Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Rossoneri TV. I'm Adamo, and today I'll be here for another Transfer Daily video in which I'll be recapping the latest news and rumors going on at AC Milan. So let's get started with Nocerino, as Malaga and Palermo are interested in signing the player according to Tutto Mercato Web. His agent did say he, as in Nocerino, is ready to leave. Panathinaikos, I nailed that, don't even lie, is a possibility, but would prefer the Serie A. Now, Sport Italia are claiming that Milan are still interested in Vangioni. His agent did say that River Plate have stopped being our priority as we've been negotiating for almost 3 months. So maybe a deal could be happening this January. Obviously, for a discounted price, as the player is obviously unhappy and will be forcing his move out of River Plate, as his agent did mention. And his contract will be expiring this summer, if I'm not mistaken. So maybe Milan will get him on a free next summer. But I do believe that they do want a backup fullback, so maybe they'll bring him in January for cheap. You never know. I guess we're going to see what Galliani does do with all that. Now, they've also said that Milan have been proposed 23-year-old HNK Hajduk Split midfielder Tino Sven Susic. Hopefully, I got that right as well. I don't know. Leave it in the comments below if I didn't how to pronounce that. I would love to know. Don't know much about him, so leave down below that as well. Anything you know about the player, if he's any good, promising, what he can offer to Milan, leave that down below, as I'm sure everybody else would love to know as well. Now, Sky are reporting that Milan will not sell Mexes and Zapata due to Rodrigo Eli's big injury. The player could be out for several months, so obviously, they're not going to want to sell him, as they're going to need to replace him. Obviously, as for a couple months, he won't be playing, so they're going to need a center back to kind of fill that void. So if we were to sell Mexes or Zapata, we would have an even bigger void that we'd have to fill even more so. So I can kind of understand where Milan are coming from this point of view. Now, on to some bigger news. Fiorentina will challenge Roma for El Shaarawy, according to Tutto Mercato Web. Yes, the story continues on with El Shaarawy. Who knows where he's going to end up? First it was Monaco, then it was Milan, then it was Roma, now it's Fiorentina. Who freaking knows? I have no idea. I just want this to be over because it seems that regardless, El Shaarawy won't be coming to Milan, and it's not like we're going to get tons of money for him anyway. So I just hope it ends. But on to the biggest news of the day. Sky are reporting that Luis Adriano is officially heading to China, as Milan have received an offer of 14 to 15 million euros, which is around 6 million in profit. Now, Luis Adriano will earn 8 million, which is a ton of money. This guy's going to be feeding his family for centuries to come. He's emptied his locker, said goodbye, and left Milanello. Milan did reject several good offers for Luis Adriano, but they weren't good enough for Milan. But once the offer came in from China, it was way too good to decline. So, I can kind of understand Milan's concept in this. Obviously, a lot of profit being made, losing his wages, and now this kind of opens up the squad to bring in new additions, whether that be in the midfield, the attack, wherever that may be. They're also saying that Milan are not thinking of replacing Luis Adriano, according to Sky, as I mentioned, Luca Marchetti. It does make sense, with Balotelli and Menez coming back, and they're going to be ready to perform. Obviously, Balotelli, he was doing very well before he got injured, to be fair to him, and he really seemed to be picking up the pace in his career. So hopefully he can continue that, and hopefully this injury didn't hinder him. Now, Menez, on the other hand, we haven't seen for practically the entire season. I don't think he's played one game or made a single appearance in the actual Serie A campaign this season. But last season, obviously, our top goal scorer, one of the top in the Serie A, scoring those fantastic single-handedly goals. Some may say he's selfish, but he's a player that can work some magic on his own. And now Luis Adriano gone, him and Balotelli are definitely going to have to step up, especially with the rumors of Carlos Bacca possibly leaving as well, to the likes of Chelsea, Manchester United, all those top English clubs looking for him, as he's a very prolific striker. If he were to leave, I'm sure that Milan would replace him, or at least in some sort make up for the loss of him, and bringing in another striker, because losing two strikers is quite a big deficit, unless Milan intend to chop their squad down. So I guess we're gonna have to wait and see what that's all about. Now, Mediaset are claiming, speaking of English clubs, that Manchester United are ready to offer, wait for it, 40 million euros for 16-year-old Gianluigi Donnarumma. Yes, the legend himself. Now, this is tons of money for somebody with incredible potential. Practically the sky's the limit for this kid. I can say kid because I'm actually older than him for once. I've never been able to say that, not even with Hakeem Astor. We're pretty much a level on age. Now, this is too crazy of a number for me to actually believe. I don't think Manchester United would be silly enough to actually offer 40 million euros. That's a lot for an unproven player. Well, yes, he's been doing fantastic, but 40 million euros for a player that's not even going to start at your club, I don't think that's going to happen. And I don't think that's the price tag that they'll put on a 16-year-old. Maybe when he gets to, his early 20s, 18, 19, something like that, maybe a price tag will be warranted of that if he keeps up his performances. But for now, I don't think that's actually true. But believe it if you will, definitely possible. Anything that's reported is a possibility. Now, Sky, they've been all over the place today. They're reporting that in case of negative results, Milan would turn to Marcello Lippi, obviously the coach of the great Azzurri in 2006, which won the World Cup. Tutto Sport are claiming that Lippi is ready to accept a coaching job at Milan. And Lippi has said, and I quote, if an offer I like arrives, I'm ready to return to the bench. Now, that could be hinting at a Milan kind of addition going on there if Mihailovic were to work out poorly. If you ask me, I don't think Mihailovic's job could be in question or should be in question. A lot of people are debating this. I find it stupid, really, because one, who are you going to bring in that's going to make that much big of a difference? If you're not going to be bringing in this amazing world-class coach like Carlo Ancelotti, for example, really, what's the point? There's going to be no difference. You're going to be bringing in Brocchi, and then the same shit's going to happen with Inzaghi, and the wheel's going to keep on spinning, and it's never going to end at Milan. A lot of people are saying, just to touch on this note, that Inzaghi probably did as good as Mihailovic. He just didn't have as much funds. Well, you also have to consider that the rest of Serie A vastly improved this season. Obviously, Napoli with Sarri are a completely different side than they were with Benitez. Fiorentina have been fantastic. Roma is still their usual shaky self, but still being out there. But you get my point. I do think that Mihailovic's job should not be in question at this very moment. But, in the future, if fixtures continue to go poor, maybe the case will be that he should be fired. I don't know. I guess we're going to have to wait and see. But if that were to happen, it seems like Marcello Lippi will be one of the key candidates for his position. Now, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, leave a like, comment down below about all these deals. Are you happy or upset about this Luis Adriano deal? You have to consider we're getting a lot of money for this, and it could open up for the transfer window for players like Witsel and stuff. So leave down below what you think about that. Comment below all the players that I mentioned. If you're good with the deals, if you're bad with them, what do you think? Leave it down below. As I mentioned, I'm Adamo Taco coming from Rossoneri TV. And as usual, Forza Milan!
The Coppa Italia obviously seems the easier of the two paths for Milan in order to qualify for an European competition.